All right, welcome everyone. And this is day 6 of our 7-day hydration challenge, part of our Revel in Your Rhythm and Spunk group. My husband likes to call it your Rumpashaka group. It's all about getting connected with your body, doing what's best for you so that you can show up and be amazing in your life. You can revel in your own rhythm and in your own spunk and carry forth that into the world. So I'm super glad to bring you some more information about water today. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see the slides that I've prepared for today. Let's see, still getting used to how to do this. Here we go. All right. Play the slides and let's see. No way to. All right. So our calls are focused on the 4 core principles for releasing toxins easily. It's a gentle way of detoxing. It's really just allowing your body to do what it does normally. And that happens through hydration, breathing, awareness, and nutrition. And so this week has been all about hydration and how we can better hydrate ourselves to allow for our organs to really have what they need in order to naturally release the various toxins that come through in our environment. And so our goal this week is to have 6 to 8 glasses of spring water or ceramic filtered water a day. This is the ideal. It may not be possible in your current circumstances, but this is what you're working towards. So do the best you can with what you have. And, the best way to do that is, well, actually, before we get into how, why? So why are we drinking water? We know that it's important for muscle fuel. It provides clearer skin. It plumps up your skin so that you look younger and more vibrant. It boosts your productivity. It helps to eliminate toxins from your liver and your kidneys more easily. It helps to grease your joints and make your flexibility easier. It definitely increases your brain ability, relieving brain fog, and just making the world more vibrant. It helps reduce cravings because a lot of the times our hungers come from being thirsty because our innate nature was to look for water-enriched foods when we were thirsty as we evolved because we couldn't carry water bottles around as we were evolving. So we seek water-rich foods and as a way of relieving our hunger. And when we don't, we get into a cycle of craving. We'll crave salty foods, dry foods, packaged foods, and then we end up eating those and we're still thirsty, so we're still hungry. So, that is really key to helping control cravings. It's a blood normalizer. It helps balance out your blood system. It helps relieve fatigue, and it increases the overall fluid balance of your body. We are bodies of water, and we need water in order to thrive. So this is all about self-care and what we can do to really increase our health through water intake. And with our detox outlook, we are all about removing and replacing. And the key is the and. We really want to add more in of the good stuff, not just vacation from the bad, because we can't properly detox if we're not adding the good stuff. And that's those 4 core elements of hydration, breathing, awareness, and nutrition. So throughout each of the weeks, we're going to focus on those things and provide sort of a layered addition of how we can support ourselves in letting our body release naturally. So this week is all about quality, quantity, accessibility, and accountability. Where's your water from? You want to try to stay away from the big blue bottles. Get your water from a tap. Ideally, spring water through your tap is one of the best ways you can get it. If you have a filter or a ceramic filter is even better because it adds back minerals that may have been taken out. You should be drinking those 6 to 8 glasses a day minimum. And then are you doing it through having accessibility through a steel or glass water bottle with you at all times? If you constantly have a water bottle, then you'll be reminded to continue to reach for water when you're thirsty. And then tracking that intake of how many bottles you're drinking, either in your planner, on a sticky note on your fridge, or wherever you access your water so that you can check that off a few times a day. With a general sized water bottle, it's going to be about 800 to 1 liter, 800 milliliters to 1 liter. So, 3 to 4 of those a day is going to be really important for you. And it depends on your size. Smaller people drink smaller glasses of water. Larger people drink larger glasses of water. You'll know you'll get enough if you do 6 to 8 of those a day. So that's our recap. And today, we're going to be exploring the meaning of water. Water is life. And where does life come from? Well, for me, this quote really sums it up. We are all stars wrapped in skin. The light you are seeking has always been within. That's a beautiful Rumi quote that reminds us where we're from the stars. Every molecule, every atom that's ever existed has come from stars and the birth of stars. And so, we're made from that great cosmic birth, the suns dancing and merging, exploding and putting off more star stuff out into the world, into the universe. And the core of those, some of the most fundamentals are hydrogen and oxygen. And 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen atoms combine to make water. Water on planet Earth is a finite resource. We have all the water we're ever going to have on this planet. And so what we do with that water is really essential. How we treat it, how we respect it, how we're aware of it, how we intake it. It's all very key to our future survival. So, part of this is really taking into account, what is available to us and ensuring that we get the best quality we can. And really understanding the meaning of water because there's such a depth to it. Carl Jung wrote a book called Memories, Dreams, and Reflections. And, he talks a lot about the waters of the unconscious and how the unconscious mind holds unseen depths and emotions. There's so much that is hidden from us in the waters, in the bodies of water around us. There's a lot of myth and metaphor around the meaning of water through so many stories that have been woven in creation stories like Genesis and the breath of life over the water is how the earth was created, to Vishnu, his celestial dreaming, sleeping on the ocean. And then you get into, epics like Star Wars, and you have Luke Skywalker who goes to Dagobah, and he's, basically marooned there because his ship sinks into the murky depths of the Dagobah waters. And he has to go through, his deep reflection and exploration with Yoda before he can his ship can reemerge and he can go back and finish his hero's journey. Jason Bourne is another really deep exploration of the water metaphor, and how he, is plunged into water on a number of occasions throughout that cycle. There's many more stories that I could go into or highlight, but the core, if you think back on these different stories, is how water transforms us and how it changes us and how it allows us to go through a transformation. So, all of these things, the moon, is another sort of icon that represents water, because it has such a hold on the planet as it moves in its cycles each month, with the tides and with our bodies as women. So the moon also is a huge signifier for us of the depth of water and what it does for our bodies. And then, emotions. And I'm going to get a little bit more into water and emotions. If you've ever heard of Dr. Emoto and the water crystals, this is an interesting and somewhat woo-woo thought experiment. But basically, he found that by charging water with different word forms, you could create different shapes of crystals. It's been replicated here and there. I personally haven't done it, but I think it's a fascinating idea. And, every little bit counts and helps. So we have our water containers at home with words like love and gratitude and flow and joy written on them, so that, if it is having an impact on the water, which I think it could be, that's something that we can take in and help charge the water in our own bodies to have certain formations that resonate and vibrate at a higher level. There's some other work that's been done around the idea of raising energy and vibrations, and how when people do these types of energy vibration raising experiments, things like the crime rate goes down around you. So, people that are enlightened resonate at these very high frequencies of gratitude and higher, love or above, as someone like Christine Marie Sheldon talks about. And these kinds of vibrations can really have an impact on the world around you. So, maybe try charging your water at night and putting some different words that have meaning for you. I like words that have come out of the desire mapping book that Danielle Laporte talks about quite a bit. And, there's a lot of work around desire mapping and really connecting with your core desired feelings and letting those guide you in your life. I'll be doing some workshops for our WildFitters on that in the future, as I am becoming a licensed desire map facilitator. I'm very excited because her process, desire mapping, has really changed my life. Getting connected with my core desired feelings is what led me to Nicaragua to come onto a writing sabbatical and work on creating this beautiful bee sanctuary here. So I look forward to sharing more about that story with you, and you can catch all of our, weekly updates on our Facebook page. But anyway, getting back to these water crystals, the interesting thought around this is that water holds memory, and memories are feelings. And so water holds feelings. And so what we put into our water and what we bring into our bodies and what we hold as memories in our bodies has an impact on how we feel. And so the more we can do to really purify our bodies to ensure that we are getting good quality water in and releasing the negative toxic water that has come in the past. Part of this process is also a release of emotions. We've seen so many breakthroughs for folks that are going through WildFit that, as they're becoming aware of what's going in and the patterns, the sort of non-functional patterns that people used to have around food and self-care, they really start to become aware of that and are able to let go and have breakthroughs around their experiences. So what you're doing here may seem simple, 6 to 8 glasses of water a day, but really it's having a profound shift on how you treat yourself. So be aware of that. And, as things come up, I would love to support you and help you. Please feel free to post your observations that you're having in the Facebook group. It's a safe place. And we all want to be here to support one another into becoming our best selves. So really look forward to those conversations. So we know that water is life. We know that, in the evolution of this planet, water is what really kicked off the exponential growth of the planet and the diversity of life and all of that. So the key here is, as we are exploring hydration for ourselves and we're becoming more connected with how we receive water, because water is connected to so much in our lives, we have to think about how we can have a greater reverence for water, so that the access to water that we have is better. I'm going to share in the next slide some photos of my experience of water here in Nicaragua, but I have to say that a big concern for the planet is around plastic. And when we think about our oceans and the sustainability of our oceans, which is the majority of this planet, this is a planet water more than planet Earth. There's so much destruction that has happened. We have whole gyres of plastic floating, huge near continent size masses of plastic that are floating out there. And so, I really encourage you, as you're exploring self-care, to try to find ways to eliminate plastic in your life, so that we can start to reduce the amount of plastic that's created on the planet. And I'm so excited about the ways that plastic is going to be addressed in the future, with different ways of taking it out of the oceans. But just near me, this upper left photo is a photo of a former dump spot that continues to get dumped on here in the countryside in Nicaragua. And this is towards the top of a watershed, which, as it's rained on, gets funneled down into the creeks and streams and goes down into the water table. And all those toxins are being released into the water table. And so, what people are drinking is a scary, scary thought, which is why we want to really start thinking like a watershed and paying attention to, what goes away, because away is sort of that undefined place somewhere else that we don't have to think about, which is why we really want to do reusable water sources, not drinking through plastic bottles, but reusing our water bottles and making them last for a long, long time, which is why glass and steel are really long term. These are just some other photos of things that we're doing here. This is our watershed in Matagalpa in the lower photo. And here on our property, we have a massive underground rainwater cistern. We've got several above ground water tanks, and we collect in this upper photo. This is where the roof runoff comes and goes into those rainwater tanks. So we're doing a lot to really try to make sure that we have the most accessible quality water here, because last year we lived more remotely in the country and we didn't have access to water for about 6 weeks. The community well ran dry, and we were we were getting our water delivered in 5-gallon buckets that came from a small well on the property, and we had to boil that water constantly. It was quite an ordeal and quite an experience that really opened my eyes to the importance of clean water. So I just wanted to share this with you because for a majority of the planet, these are real struggles to access clean water. And I understand them, having experienced it myself, and I'm still, working through the kinks of being able to have accessible rainwater where we live, because I am concerned about the toxins in the water table. It is a bit disturbing. So I just hope that as you're thinking about these things, you are also supporting watershed projects in your community that will support clean water for you. I'm going to be posting a video from our permaculture series from Brock Dolman, who has actually been tremendous in shaping water policy in the state of California in the United States. His whole concept is around thinking like a watershed, and how the headwaters of the watershed are like our own waters in our mind. And he's just beautiful in the way he connects these things. So I'll be sharing more of that video in our Facebook group, and it's quite enjoyable. But I wanted to show you this photo of the Ganges. The Ganges is a sacred river in India. Many, many people know about this river, but people go there to cleanse. Some people see it as a spiritual process of going to bathe in this very important, creation myth around creation story around where water and life come from. So very beautiful in the way that water is thought of with this creation story. And if we could think about it everywhere we come from on the planet, that each of our watersheds are in the same, as important and as vital and as core to our spirit as the Ganges is to the people of India. So with that, I want to close up this and just let you know that on Monday, we are going to be starting our breath challenge. So we're going to be working with the element of air. This week has been the element of water. Next week, we will start to look at box breathing and the value of it for flow, and the importance of it for your lungs and for relaxation and for reducing stress. So that's going to be a really exciting challenge that I look forward to providing to you and helping you through. We started with water because, our lungs are 90% water, and we want to really fill up our lungs and make sure they're fully hydrated before we start this really essential breathing exercise, so that we can try to utilize our lungs to the fullest capacity. I had asthma for many years, and was able to heal that through a number of modalities. And I look forward to sharing that story with you and bringing the exercise of breath with you to the challenge next week. So enjoy that. I look forward to sharing your experiences and your observations in the chats on the Facebook group, and reveling with you in your rhythm and spunk. So until next time, have a beautiful day. Thank you. Bye for now.